All right. One of the bane of development in Nigeria is policy somersaults. The country director of World Bank in Nigeria, Shubham Chaudhuri, has urged President Bola Tinubu's administration not to backtrack on the removal of subsidy on petrol while keeping the prices deregulated. Chaudhuri said what is needed is effective implementation of relief measures such as cash transfers, provision of buses for mass transit, school feeding, and helping farmers to improve food production. Today, there's an article written by Refinery magazine, and the article was doubting that it will get to a time that Nigerian government might not be able to continue because this measure will be very painful. Just imagine if this situation we have now persists till December. I don't think people can bear it again. The pain and everything is just too much. Because the effectiveness, this person is now talking about how, we should, for effective implementation of relief measures, such as cash transfer. Don't forget that 8,000 Naira that was cancelled, provision of buses for mass transit, school feeding, and helping farmers to improve food production.
Yes, the government has to step forward with measures that will relieve the pains that people are going through. I think that it makes sense to believe in free enterprise. I also think that at some point, government can step in. If, for example, petrol prices, or let me say crude oil prices, are going haywire in the international market, it will hurt us a lot more. Nigeria can't afford to simply say, okay, we want to just allow market forces to keep deciding. At a point, you can step in. And I've said before that even the Americans, when they see that, petrol prices, gasoline prices are becoming too high as a result of the volatility in the global oil market, they will release gasoline from their strategic reserve. They have it in abundance. They will release some of it, and that will help to stabilize the price, because we can't afford to allow these prices to go haywire. And I'm happy that the president already said,
of market forces.
Yes, you can't. You know why this one is even a lot worse is because of the precarious state of the Naira. So for it is double jeopardy for us because our currency is not strong. Every time the price goes up in the international market, it will affect us a lot more than it will affect other people. Because our currency is weak. Even the currencies of countries around us are stronger now, which had not always been the case.
Never used to
now,
be. CFA
you look at South Africa. The currency is stable, is strong, is consistent. You can plan. Even if international oil prices go up, they will never feel it the way we will feel it. Because with the Naira so weak, it is double jeopardy for us. You have to deal with the foreign component, and then the fact that Naira is weak. So that's why the steps that they are taking. I've seen now that they are trying to bring the BDCs back.
Yes.
So that the BDCs will control the retail end of it, the retail end of the forex market, because we've not been able to sort out that retail end. You and I know where to go if we really need dollars. Just go. CBN has nothing to do with that. So that retail end is the BDCs that are in charge. Now they've said, okay, come to us. We'll be giving you business, but they are going to give them conditions. what you are the rate at which you are going to sell will not be far from
Official.
the I and E window, which is the officially recognized window. So if it is, let me say, so percentage higher, they will peg, they'll put a cap on the what do I call it? On the premium that you can put on it.
We can't be having the kind of disparity we
They
used to
don't
have in
want
the
that, because that is what is causing the bulk of the problem we have is largely speculation when it comes to the foreign exchange market. It's largely speculation. Look at this, the acting CBN governor just warning that, look, gentlemen, we are planning, you will lose your money. By the next day, the rate began to crash just because somebody warned. So you know that this thing is not, there's no economic explanation to the rates that we have. It's just people just speculating and just believing that they can get away with these things. Nobody says foreign currency in South Africa the way we sell it here. We have made it an all-commerce affair. So I also think that the gains from removing subsidy are huge. We saw that the distributable revenue that the states and other tiers of government shared. Now, how do we begin to invest what we saved on making life less painful for our people? That is the point that this person is making. They believe in many countries of the world, World Bank recommends conditional cash transfer. But for us, because inflation has literally
finished
run riot in our country, you can't be giving people 8,000 naira and believe that you are doing something great. How far can 8,000 naira go? So World Bank still believes that conditional cash transfer, once it goes to the poorest of the poor, the people who need it the most, it will help them. There's no way to not help them. Look at school feeding, for example. Schools, give them buses so that people can use those buses and all. So we need to take steps that will help cushion the effect. Well, we are really slow in coming out to dish out these things. Yes. This is the problem that I have. And once these ministers take office on Monday, they have to get down to brass tacks. They have to settle down quickly and begin to deliver on these promises. Otherwise, more and more people will give up on democracy. Some of the people who are deluded, who are calling for military rule, is because they are left frustrated. But Yorubas will say, we can't lose our heads because we appear frustrated and then we'll call for the military. Only a fool will be calling for the military at this time. Because there is no guarantee that the military will deliver what it's not even fashionable.
Now, in terms of what this World Bank chieftain is saying, that basic provision of buses, school feeding, help farmers, and everything, these are things that we know that we ameliorate the sufferings of people. And as you just said, it's expected that if they can fast track this so that this can get to the grassroots,
I think
ease the pain a little bit.
I think from the figures we seen from the World Bank, it partly reflects our reality. The World Bank says that about 889 million poor Nigerians, and that figure might go up to 100 million. That means that
9 million poor.
Yes. That means that half of Nigerians. And what is their own definition of poverty? People who live like $1.90 per day. That's roughly about maybe 120 naira or 130 naira. 1,030 naira. Or 1,300 naira. And in reality, if you look at it, it means that if you have minimum wage of 30,000 naira, you are a poor man. If you have minimum wage of 40,000 naira, you are a poor person. And the reality is that millions of Nigerians don't even earn up to 40,000 naira in a month. So when we are confronted with this kind of terrible situation, and the World Bank also said that between January and May this year, the political economy, the administrators created 4 million poor Nigerians because of the CBN policies. So many SMS lost out. Small scale industries, retailers crashed because people were asked to return their funds into the bank and they never got it. So they never got the money at the time they wanted the money. So we have 4 million people that became poor in the first 4 months of this year. And the reality is that things are getting worse. But we must be honest enough to admit that I don't know who could have resumed this last May 29 and then bring a magic change, given the situation that we find ourselves. So, we said it here even before the election, that whatever will be the outcome of the election is going to be very tough for Nigerians. And I think we predict that it's going to be about some months, 10 months, 18 months before things will get better. And you see,
I think even Sanusi wants.
Yeah.
Not 64 days.
Yeah, but I think there are some signposts that should give us some kind of hope beyond the removal of subsidy. We understand that the refinery in Kaduna, Port Harcourt, may likely begin production before the end of the year. We understand that they have done the mechanical section, civil engineering section. What remains now is the electrical aspect. If that is correct, that is a good information. And in fact, somebody called me from Warri, who works at the Warri Refinery, that the pace in which they are going now, it has never happened before. And we are even hearing that they want to beat the deadline. We are looking at December this year. But they are saying they might even beat the deadline. So if we can start production, I think that will be a major achievement.
Fixing it, they will stay behind.
Yeah. They are working 24 hours. From what I heard,
It's not like before that they will go back.
Yeah.
They will stay behind, run the place for some time. That's part of the...
Yeah.
And people must not sabotage it.
Yeah.
No, those people will run the place for some time, So they've agreed, and the government will then decide on whether to sell shares and those refineries, because we can't just simply leave them like that. If we do what the Brazilians did with Petrobras, private and public ownership of the refineries, I think that they will be better managed than this. Look at what we are gaining from NLNG.
Yes.
Is an example of how partnership between the government
decent
and
multinationals,
private individuals can work. Every year they have an amount that they give the government.
And I think the government did something last week that I think is useful, giving 5 billion naira to, each state. What is now important is monitoring.
Yes.
The state must go into agriculture. You understand? Because feeding, food, is one of the most essential aspects. So there must be monitoring. For instance, if you have 20 local governments in your state and you share 1 billion, and each local government is able to get some 50 million, 60 million to, put into agriculture, vegetables, tomatoes, onions, and all that, we see the impact, So we also need to define a kind of monitoring mechanism to ensure that states make effective use of these funds that have been released to them.
I think for now, we need to de-emphasize.
Some are arguing that they shouldn't have made it just...
equal distribution.
Oh, yes.
Distribution.
Because the capacity...
States like Lagos now.
Yeah.
20 million people.
Abuja,
how do you...
They will get it. So see how small Abuja is compared to Kano. The bigger the state in terms of the...
I think so.
The higher the number of hungry people.
Yes.
So you look at states like Bayelsa, compare the population of hungry people in Bayelsa to Lagos, or even...
they might not compete with Alimo.
Katsina. So... But I knew even that one would bring controversy.
Yeah.
And I think it was the Kano government that was already even accusing the federal government of favoring Lagos when it was first muted. That Lagos will get this, Kano will get this. The man came out and was saying that the thing was not properly done. Now, 5 billion each. It's their luck. For the smaller states, I think it's their luck.
All right.